Our monthly income has dropped by £2,000, which is a bit scary. Autumn has truly taken hold at our off-grid homestead. Not only is nature changing continuously, but so too is family life. As part of this, we're having to be a bit more resourceful. Our focus for now is harvesting and storing the rest of the food that we've grown, starting with our apples, and we've got a bit of an unusual plan in mind.
So we've got two old freezers here. One of them was ours and it broke down. One of them got fly tip down here and we never got rid of them in the end. We put them at the back and we were meant to get rid of them at the tip and we didn't. But we've got a use for them now. I have a customer and they use one and they put it at the bottom of their garden. They store fruit in it, and the lady that was there had been eating her apples in April still. So she'd harvested them about this time of year, probably September, October time, wrapped them in some paper, put them in the freezer and stored them at the bottom of her garden, and she was eating them in April. So we're going to give it a go because we can't afford to have a cellar. We can't afford to put a cellar in, and really that's what you need, a big cellar to keep everything nice and cool. Until we can do that, we're going to make do with things like this.
Before we could put the apples inside, we had to make sure both freezers were completely dry.
This one is going to be used for squash and maybe cooking apples.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how long they're going to store for.
No.
This one's going to be used for that apple that seems to last really long. I'm not quite sure the name. I think it's Discovery.
Okay.
But we've got Queen Cocks, and I'm not sure they last quite as long. They're a bit softer.
Let's see.
Let's go!
So we pick them, wrap them in greaseproof paper, and put them in there.
And then we just watch them rot over the course of the next few months.
Okay.
So what we're looking for is a blemish-free apple without too much bird poo on it, so that we can store it.
Unfortunately, there were brambles growing through the apple trees, which meant some of the time was spent cutting them back. But in the end, we managed to pick all of the apples.
So we're going to wrap these apples in greaseproof paper and put them inside there. Really what we could do with these, like when you have in an airing cupboard, is have them in layers so they're not all touching. That's what I'm thinking. But we haven't got that luxury of running around trying to get all the right slats for it. So we're just going to have to see how this works. Might put some sticks across or try and do something. Could really do with some obviously boxes that actually fit in there that stack without touching the apples. But we haven't got that, so we'll just have to see how it goes. It's a first year's try because it might not even work. It might be too cold, they might just freeze, they might go mushy, and it might not work. But it's worked for other people, so we'll have to see. I'll get a little square. And wrap an apple in it like this. and then we'll just put them in like that, and then hopefully they'll last. We've just got to check and not bruise them, and we'll have to see how it goes.
Daddy, that one.
That's just scab. That's alright.
Daddy, I think I don't want to make a square. I think I want to do that.
What, darling?
I think I want to
Wrap an apple now, yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, I think you have these scissors. I don't have toys.
You wrap apples then. You just put them in like that. That's about right. I think we'll just got to place them in there like that. Give me those bits of paper. So we're wrapping these apples up in this grease-proof paper and hoping that that is enough to stop, if one goes bad, to stop them all going bad. Obviously got to keep an eye on them. If they're not touching and they're just like that in there, hopefully they'll be okay. Obviously this is time consuming, but at 50 odd pence an apple now for an organic apple, there's hundreds of pounds worth of fruit going to probably go in here. So it's maybe worth doing. If it works, it's worth doing.
So we have to give it one more try before the idiots are taking over. They're caught up in the race of wanting more, and we can tell one from the other. No one can tell you what they're running from. No one knows anymore. What's it for? What's it for?
I was going to do
So
more.
that's the general idea.
There's one more.
One more. So I bleached these out, these tanks, and scrubbed them as best I could. They're a bit stained, but they're very clean. There's a slight smell of bleach still. So I know they look a bit rough, but hopefully they'll do the job. I've got more to pick and more to stack, and I've run out of greaseproof paper now, so I have to buy some more of that and then carry on. So obviously, because it does look a bit of a mess being cool boxes, and it kind of ruins the ambiance of the area, we're going to try and cover them up with something so it doesn't look like two fly-tipped freezers in a woodland.
From the early summer onwards, the children love coming out into the woodland to get themselves a snack when they play. That might be a raspberry or a strawberry to start with in the early summer months, and then it's an apple or a pear this time of year. But in a couple of months' time it will all be gone. So it's really nice that we have the apples in storage so that when they do come out and play in the winter, there's still something that we've grown that they can have. As the years go by, the children are enjoying playing outside more and more, and I can see how happy it makes them and the freedom that it gives them. But as they get older, Fraser and I have had to start thinking more about their future, and in particular about their education. After doing lots of research, we've decided that we're going to home educate the children. That has meant I've had to leave my job as a teacher, and one of the biggest impacts of that is that our monthly income has dropped by £2,000, which is a bit scary. But there's lots of positives as well. I worked as a head of school for 7 years, which meant that there were lots of early starts and late finishes, and that meant sometimes I missed dinner time and even bedtime. By being at home, it means I'm not missing out on those things. So you might be wondering what I'm going to be doing with all my spare time now that I'm not a teacher. Well, I'll be home educating the children, and as they get older, that'll be taking more and more of my time. I will also be working hard to make sure that the YouTube videos come out consistently, so we're hoping for every couple of weeks now, which is exciting. But I also have another project on the go. I've started an organisation which is designed to help parents home educate their children in nature. It's called Wild Walker Academy, and there is a website in the making, but for now there's also an Instagram account which you can find at Wild Walker Academy. There you'll find all the reasons we've chosen to home educate our children, as well as tips on teaching children outside in nature and talking about all the benefits that getting kids outside regularly brings. We often get asked if there's going to be a Off-Grid Family Instagram account, and we've decided that there's not. This is going to be the closest that we have to that. So we would love for you to show your support by coming across to Instagram, finding us and following us, and drop us a comment or a DM and let us know you've come across from YouTube, because it would be lovely to see some familiar faces.
I've got to handle them really carefully. Got a lot there, so okay, so we'll carry that one. Hold on to that one. We've got to, we have to walk slowly, but we've got to go, not drop it. Okay.
Is this slow?
The way of doing that. So it said to leave 2 to 3 inches, but I couldn't, because otherwise there'd be a big bit of vines there, and they'd like to leaves and stuff. I'm just cutting them off as close as I can.
I'm being very
Right.
slow.
I'm going to get another one. A snip him. Not a snap, but snip. Can you snip him there?
Yeah, I can.
Go on then.
He's here.
Back there a bit more. Back. There. Snip him. Oh, look at that. It's a big one.
Oh, stand that, Bill.
Lovely. Right, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I've been looking online for advice about ripening pumpkins, and they reckon that if it's started to ripen, then it can continue to ripen. If it's very green, then it probably won't ripen in a polytunnel. I told you I was going to talk to the camera. She does it deliberately now, I swear.
Why are you talking?
She knows what she's up to. I'm talking to YouTube. I'm silly daddy. So we're going to pick this pumpkin that is probably one of the bigger pumpkins we've got. I think it's the biggest one, even though it's not fully ripe, because we don't want the frost getting to it. So for me, the obvious place to cut this squash would be to cut it there, sort of where it wants to break off, where that union is. Leaving this stuff on seems to be where it rots and goes soft. Now a lot of these things say leave 4 inches or something like that. Well, that's probably only 3 inches, I think. It's not very long, is it? And so it's hard to know. It's hard to know what's best to do. But I'm going to go with my instincts and say on that union and right there. If it'll cut, maybe I need to get rid of that soft stuff. Oh, lovely. They're dying, aren't they? Yucky.
Oh, lovely.
We've been infestated with rats, and our poison that we just keep down all the time is taking effect, but you've got to get rid of them. This time of year, the fields come in and bam, we've got stuff here, and they're having a nibble on things, eating chicken food. We've got to keep poison down all the time. And so as a result, we're finding rats. I found one dead in there. You could smell it. You could smell it was rotten.
Yeah.
Yeah, smelly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you alright?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't touch things like that, okay?
Okay, I just touched it with a stick.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Oh, that's definitely what children do. Everyone has to poke a dead thing with a stick. We've all done it. Shall I grab this one?
Yeah. You got it.
Can we see any more?
No.
No? It's the last one then, I think, and then I think we're done.
Okay.
I think that's enough though. I think we've got enough of them now.
I think we're growing more.
You want to grow more?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Don't think we need any more. So we've had a few of the winter squash already, the ones that were really ready, but obviously we've got to bring them in now because the frosts will just make them go mushy, and that'll be the end of that, and then we'll lose them, we won't be able to store them. But it's not been bad this year. It hasn't been hot enough. They usually ripen a bit earlier than this. This year everything has been a bit slow to ripen. We just haven't had the sun, we haven't had the heat, and that's what we need now. We need some sun and heat, and that's what I reckon continues to ripen them. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
With a massive drop in income, we know we're going to have to be more creative with the things we've already got, as well as making sure we store and preserve as much of the food we've grown as possible. But our children will be young for such a short amount of time that we know it's the right decision for us. And by making this decision now, we hope it will give us a chance to truly make the most of this off-grid life.
We can look back someday